Through to the kitchen, you can see where Kelly lives. It's not far and we can see it from the window. That's the building over there, out of the back. It's the cream building with the maroon window frames. Kelly has phoned me and said, "Mum, you'll have to come and help me. I can't get out of the building. There are kids outside." And so I have to go and chase them all away. So I do a lot of toing and froing, sometimes in the middle of the night, but it's all part of the job.
Kelly has lived here for the last 7 years, but she is still very dependent on her mother Sue for her safety. Since leaving school herself, Kelly has been tormented by generations of school children. It's become almost a local rite of passage for them. While we're filming, a group of teenage boys spot Kelly and make fun of her. We overhear them referring to her as Kelly Mong. It's depressingly familiar for Kelly, and it happens to her all the time. They know she will rise to the bait.
What do you say about me? Come a bit closer and I want to hear it. Come closer, I want to hear it.
Even when I'm with Kelly, it can happen. She gets called names, people start shouting, either chanting her name, which is a favourite of them, Kelly, 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 or just Kelly, Kelly. And you stop and you think, what can I do? There's 10, 15 children over the other side of the road doing this. What do I do?
They call me a fat git. I've been bullied in the pubs. Sometimes they follow me home.
A favourite word they use, though, is mong. And I believe most of the general public won't understand what that means or why it would be offensive. Well, can I just say that mong is equivalent to calling a black person the N-word.
The abuse from school children is considered low level, but it can get serious.
Some of the more severe incidents, somebody threw a knife at her, somebody drove a car up onto the pavement at her, people have threatened her, somebody kicked her once, clothes been burned with cigarettes, spat on her hair, her clothing. She's had coke poured over her, drinks knocked out of her hand, chips knocked out of her hand.
I just wish it's over so I can get on my life.
Kelly's parents have turned to the police, but it hasn't made any difference.
The system doesn't have a place for this. The system doesn't work. There's nowhere for them to take it.
When all the investigation's done and all the questions are asked, it's a dead end.
Yeah.
That makes it frustrating for us.
If you don't have a witness, if you don't have someone to corroborate what's happened, and there's no forensic evidence, it's one word against another. That's what we've heard over and over again. It's her word against theirs.
Every single incident is important.
Yeah.
Because it affects your life.
Yes. And it's wearying, it's tiring.
There is no legal definition of a disability hate crime, as there is for racial discrimination. If there is proof the crime has been motivated by a person's disability, it's taken into consideration during sentencing. Kelly's mother has been dealing with this abuse for over 20 years. But in Canterbury, it's a frightening new experience for another mother. Alison's son, Angus, was diagnosed with autism at 2 years old. But when he reached his teens, his behaviour made him a target.
Angus comes back from boarding school today, and there's always some sort of trepidation of him coming home.
Hello. How are you?
How was school?
It was good.
How are you in your hat? You're not a guinea pig.
Yeah.
How was school? What's this? NYPD cop is Angus.
Yeah.
You made that, did you?
Yeah.
He's now 14, and the local authority pays for him to go to a specialist boarding school for autistic children.
Have we got anything?
Oh, I sneaked my gun in there to be James Bond.
Well, you're not James Bond.
Ah!
We have our behaviour chart. So where are we going to put it?
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
Usually,
I think we're going to have to stick it on the wall, on the cupboard though, aren't we?
His condition means he can be difficult and often behaves inappropriately. Some local children have seized on this and provoke him with taunts.
This is my room. My PlayStation. All sorts of things in my room. A gun. Shoot. Sit with my enemies.
Who are your enemies?
The ones up on the road are enemies.
Why is that?
Because they are nasty people up on the road. They say nasty things, all sorts of things.
And when they say these horrible things to you, how do you feel?
Very, very angry.
And do you say anything back to them?
Yes.
What do you say to them?
Go away, leave me alone.
But they haven't left him or Alison alone. Rubbish, eggs and condoms have been thrown at the house. After Angus was subjected to a particularly offensive bout of verbal abuse earlier this year, Alison called the police. Under the Public Order Act, a 13-year-old child was eventually banned from the estate. Although the police responded well, it hasn't solved the problem. Angus still can't play in his neighbourhood for fear of being picked on.
No, we don't go unless you bring that back, please. Right, we don't go anywhere then. Can you go and put it by the bin? Keep low in the boat. Can you move up a bit?
For Angus's first day home, Alison has planned a boat trip to keep him occupied and out of trouble.
That's what you did when you were a baby when we came on here.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? No, none of that. None of that. Because we're going to behave nicely, aren't we?
Yeah.
The challenge is going out with him anywhere is the unpredictability, and you never really know what he's going to do. And the fact that we have to go everywhere with a gun.
Oh.
And I think we decided that a small green one was better than a big yellow one.
Fish skirt.
No, that could have hit him. That's not very nice, is it?
Another leaf.
Let's try to keep a lid on it before our behaviours develop into something a little bit more sinister, which they can do quite quickly. And things like... Stop. No. That's silly, isn't it? Stop.
Am I revolting?
Well, no, but you can behave like that sometimes.
Rocking.
No rocking. No standing, no rocking.
I want the boat tip over.
Well, yes, and the man has to balance as well.
Oh, make him go in the water.
No. I want you to be sensible and not get silly.
Revolting child I am.
When Angus loses his gun in the water, the mood changes.
I want to jump in.
No, you're not jumping in.
What, will I drown?
No, you're not jumping in.
Yes, I am.
Oh, don't you dare. Right, I'm just going to get control.
I need my gun.
No.
I need my gun.
My worry is what Angus will do when his mother isn't around. It's a constant worry for parents like us. How to protect our children from themselves. As they grow up, we have the added fear of the harm others might inflict.
Are we going to get another one?
Yes, we'll get another one. But you're going to have to behave, aren't you?
So dumb.
Oh my God. No, someone's just come and put my window through in my house.
Someone's broken your window?
Yeah, about 5 minutes ago.
Not even that. Just about here. Cam sitting.
Unbelievable. This is what you get for standing up to a whole load of nasty yobs. They just keep coming after you. They won't stop.
The latest attack on Ash's house changes everything. Up to now, she has resisted the council's offer to move her, because her house has, at long last, been specially adapted for Callum. But the perpetrators are getting bolder. This attack happened in broad daylight. I'm concerned about the effects of this latest incident on the family, especially Garin.
Hi, Rosa. Garin. Hi. As you can see there,
Oh my goodness.
up on the window.
I thought that was the rain, but it's not.
No,
It's shattered, isn't it?
it has. It's shattered. It was only like 2 days ago now.
I can't believe it.
I know. It's cracked right up on the left-hand corner. It's okay to touch because we've got double glazing.
Yeah.
But it's just cracked right up there.
That's terrifying, though.
It isn't stopping. We don't know what to do now. Like, it's just... I feel really scared. So it's just... I feel it's all my fault there.
How could it possibly be your fault?
Don't know. I feel like I've wound them up somehow or something like that.
You've done absolutely nothing. All you've done and all you are doing is being an incredible brother and a very loving son in very difficult circumstances.
Yeah.
Don't take it on yourself, sweetheart. It's wrong. There's quite enough going on here without you feeling guilty. Will you try?
I'll try, but that's what I feel like.
It cannot continue like this. It is so not right for you, but for Garin particularly. It's awful.
Well, it's destroying us. It's absolutely just... Garen's got no childhood. I mean, this will be his childhood. A third of his life has been spent with abuse, with violence, and we've had the worst time of our lives in the last couple of months.
I would have thought it should have stopped. The local council, the local police, the local housing association should have been shamed into actually getting their act together and, sorting it. But it seems to me that nobody is prepared to take responsibility, and that is always the problem. There's layers of bureaucracy, there's hundreds of agencies involved. Negotiating through this is a minefield for anyone, let alone distressed families who have a right to live in safety like everyone else. We can resort to the law, but that will not prevent it happening over and over again. We need a justice system that provides a strong deterrent and recognises the devastating effects of this abuse. What's worse is the victims are some of society's most vulnerable people. I'm taking Garin on a day out, away from home. If you could wave a wand, what would you do? What would you change?
Well, I don't know really. Where we live, maybe?
I think your mum is doing a brilliant job, in fighting back.
I think we'll always be victims.
I don't think so, Garin.
I think we will. I don't think we will if we moved house or something.
So that's something positive to look forward to, to get off that estate and move into a different house away from all the trouble.
Because you can't change the past, but you can change the future.
Exactly. There is a small light at the end of the tunnel, as Asha has now agreed with the council that they will be moved away from the trouble. Whilst they find suitable accommodation, the council is putting up 5 more cameras around their house. Are you all right coming down the steps? You sure?
I just hate having nothing to hold on to.
Yeah. As I spend more time with Christopher, he begins to open up. It's lovely. This is beautiful here, isn't it?
It is.
It's so lovely, isn't it? And if there's one thing that you could change about your life, what would it be?
My face. So people stop noticing it and saying things about it and sort of notice me instead.
I can't believe they don't. You've got the kindest face. You really have.
Kindest one. I look like an orc.
You don't. Well, let's make the most of being out and go and have a cup of tea, shall we, or something? I think would be nice. You all right?
Yeah, fine. Sorry, I got a bit too...
No, you don't need to apologise.